In this video, I'm going to show you how to scrape data from the web directly into a Google Sheet. Open that data in Tableau 10 with the new Google Sheets connector. Visualize it, and then publish it to Tableau Public and set it up for automatic refreshing. Most of the information for this video comes from this blog post that you see on my screen now. However, there's a couple of things that aren't covered in this blog post that I will cover in this video. To start off with, we need a page that has some HTML data on it, that has an HTML table on it. So I went to Baseball Reference, and you see that this page has several tables. One for batting, one for pitching, one for wins above position, etc., etc. So the first thing I'm going to do, let me just go ahead and delete this, is I'm going to go into a Google Sheet, and I'm going to use the import HTML function. So I'm going to type import HTML brackets, and this requires three things. First, it requires the URL of the page. Second is the type of query, whether it's a table or a list. And the third is which table is it on the page. So I'm going to paste in the URL. I know it's a table, and then I believe that it's the first table in the view. So I'm just going to type in a 1. And you'll see that Google goes out and automatically pulls in all of the data for that table. Now let's say, for example, that it isn't the second table, and it's actually, or it isn't the first table, it's actually the second table that I want. Well, it's easy enough to just go in here and change this 1 to a 2. Hit enter, and Google goes out and gets the latest data. So the beauty of this is this will always stay up to date on your Google Sheet because Google is importing the data from that table. So let me switch that back to a 1 because I'm only interested in batting data in this example. Okay, great. So now I'm going to open up Tableau, and I'm going to go to the new Google Sheet connector. I'm going to type in my email and my password, and then I need to give Tableau authorization to the account. And then from there, Tableau is going to find a list of all of the sheets. So the first sheet here is MLB batting, so that's the one I want, and I click on Connect. So Tableau is going to read this data in, and just like any other connection, the window looks the same. So I'm just going to call this one MLB batting, and let's go ahead and set up an extract. All right, so you'll notice that we have some extra records down here like the null and things like that. So what I can do is I have this TM and the null that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to go ahead and include a data source filter. So I'm going to put a filter on team. I'm going to exclude the null and the TM. Those are just extra rows. Hit OK. And then I can go ahead and build my sheet. I need to save the extract. I'm going to go back over to Chrome real quick and kill this page because it's making my fan run on my computer. All right, so let's go to this sheet, and you'll see Tableau starts importing that data. Excellent. So now what I could do, let's say that I'm just interested in the number of home runs for each team. I can go ahead and put that on there. Maybe turn on my labels, and there we go. Very, very simple, quick visualization. Or maybe I want to look at something like, so let's call this HR's home runs per team. And then I can go ahead and maybe create a new sheet. Maybe this time I want to look at the OPS of a team, that's on base plus slugging. Compared to their, let's compare that to the number of number of home runs. So this should be a pretty strong relationship here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put team on the detail. All right, so I can go ahead and maybe untick the include 0 and untick the include 0. All right. So from here, maybe I'll go ahead and create a group. So I'm going to create a group here, and I'm going to call this my league. and I want to go ahead and pick the teams that are in each league. So to do that, I can just go back over and I can look at MLB teams by league, just to make sure that I get them right. Hopefully Google gives me a really nice list here. Maybe just go to the standings page. You always want to double check and make sure no teams, because recently in Major League Baseball some teams have switched divisions. All right, so we could do something like, all right, so we know in the American League we've got Boston, Toronto, so Boston, Toronto, Baltimore, New York, so New York Yankees, Oakland, Baltimore, Chicago White Sox, Cleveland, Detroit. Is Houston, where is Houston now? Okay, so Houston is in the West, or in the American League now. Kansas City Royals, Los Angeles Angels. It looks like I missed one here for the league average. Milwaukee, they're in the National League. So Pittsburgh, the Padres, Seattle. So Seattle is now in the West. Tampa Bay Rays. All right, so who else am I missing here? So Dodgers, Colorado. Okay, I think that's it. So I'm going to group those and call those the AL. And then I'm going to include everybody else in a group called the NL. So hit OK. And I'm going to just verify my list there. So league. And let's just do, let's do a count on the number of teams. And we get 13 in the AL and 18 in it. So 5, 10, 15. Okay, so I'm missing a couple. So let's go ahead and edit our group. And I need to go to the NL and see who I need to move into some of the other divisions. Okay, Miami, Milwaukee, Minnesota should be in the AL. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, Minnesota, Milwaukee, New York Mets. Pittsburgh, nope. Okay, San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants. Texas is the other one I'm missing. Okay, so let's add them to the AL, hit OK. And now we see we've got 15 in the AL, 16 in the NL, good to go. All right, so next thing I need to do is edit my data source filter. And I need to remove the one that's league average as well. Okay, so now we got 15 in each, perfect. Okay, so now what I can do is I can actually color code these circles by the league. So let's make these filled circles. And what I probably should do is use the official Major League Baseball colors. So I'm just going to do MLB logos. And just go to images. And this is a neat way to kind of get some logo colors for the American League and the National League. Okay, so let's call this National League logo. Okay. Anyway, you kind of get the idea. So let's maybe make the American League blue. And I don't think I have any MLB colors in here, a color scheme. Nope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the American League blue and the National League red. Something like that. Okay, good enough. All right, so anyway, so now I have these two sheets, and I'll call this OPS versus home runs. And maybe the other thing I'm interested in then is maybe I want to look at for each league, you know, which one has the most walks, maybe versus the most caught stealings, or we could even create a calculated field that is something like walks per game. So I'm going to sum my walks and divide that by the sum of the games. All right, maybe put that in the view instead and look at it for each team. All right. Very good. So this walks per game should be a decimal. All right, so let's do decimal. All right, and let's see. So we don't want to count team. We just want the label turned on. Okay, there we go. So the Chicago Cubs average 4 walks a game. That's actually pretty high. All right, so what else might we do? Okay, that's it. So let's call this walks per game. So maybe the last thing I want to do is throw this onto a dashboard, and I'll call this my MLB stats demo. And I'm going to set it initially for maybe 800 by 600. And I'm going to put home runs per team on here. Maybe OPS is up here. And maybe walks per game is down here. Okay, let's go ahead and close. Oh, no, let's move this one underneath and maybe to the side. Something like that. All right, excellent. So maybe I'm going to actually fix both of these up, and I'm just going to say only want to filter to my top 10. Top 10. Use all. And let's color code these by the league. And then my walks per game, again, let's color code by league, and let's filter to the top 10. Oops. Edit filter. Use all, top 10. All right, so now we can see these two stats. Maybe I'll move this one over here now since we have a bit more room. I can fit entire view, and now maybe I'll move this down here below so it looks a little better. Okay, great. All right, so now that I'm done, I can go ahead and I'll call this my MLB stats. I might want to go ahead and create a mobile version of this, so I'm going to hit device preview, switch to phone, make it an iPhone 5, untick that, hit add, fit width, and all right, so this case I probably should maybe move my stats down here to the bottom, and maybe move that there, and put these in a single row. Range items, single row, maybe hide the title. Okay, so now I'm going to throw a little container in here and put all these inside of a container. And that one as well. Okay, so now we've got all three things in a container. It looks like I probably should maybe make this a bit bigger, so I'm just going to increase the height some, maybe make it about 1,000. Okay, good enough. Good enough for the demo. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go back to my device. All right, that looks good. Untick my device preview. And now I want to go ahead and save this. So I'm going to save it as my MLB standings. Save it. I like to save everything on the cloud somewhere. And from here, so now this is where you have to set Tableau up to publish and refresh. So go down to Tableau Public and make sure you choose the Save to Tableau Public As option. Not the Save to Tableau Public, Save the Tableau Public As. And you're brought up with this new window. So first off, you give it a name. I'm just going to leave that the way it is. But you have to see this tick box here. So you'll see this box here. It says Google Sheets, keep my data in sync, and embed my Google credentials. So I want to go ahead and choose that. And that's basically going to tell Tableau to refresh this. And the refresh schedule is based on when you publish it. I believe that the refresh is daily. Okay, so it looks like I ran into an error here. Oops, hopefully I can get out of this. All right, so let's go back here. I'm going to, oh, okay, it looks like it actually worked. I'm not sure why I got those errors. All right, so now when you sign in, and I can click on Edit Details, down here you'll see there's this option for Google Sheets that says Keep My Data Updated. So you want to make sure that that is ticked as well. So that's it for the demo. If you ever want to just go ahead and force a refresh, you can click on this Request Update button, and I assume that just gets queued up like any other extract refresh. Hopefully you found that useful. If you have any questions, let me know.